Good evening and welcome to Metro Focus. I'm Jenna Flanagan. Protests, tweets, and due process on the line. This weekend, people took their frustration to the streets, protesting not only in support of the families who remain separated at the border, but the Trump administration that continues to push for zero tolerance. In the midst of protests yesterday, President Trump showed no signs of slowing down his anti-immigration efforts, as he ramped up his attacks, calling for immigrants who illegally enter the country to be deported immediately without judicial proceedings. He tweeted, quote, "We cannot allow these people to invade our country. When somebody comes in, we must immediately, with no judges or court cases, bring them back from where they came. Our system is a mockery to good immigration policy and law and order." He went on to tweet, "Immigration must be based on merit. We need people who will help to make America great again." Now, as the nation and lawmakers continue to grapple with the immigration crisis at the border, one organization is stepping in to help immigrants who seek refuge in Trump's America. As part of our Chasing the Dream initiative on poverty and opportunity in America, we're taking a look inside the Catholic Charities of the Archdiocese of New York and its efforts to guide those at the border. Joining me now is Executive Director Monsignor Sullivan. Monsignor, welcome to the program.
Jenna, thank you for having me.
First of all, for people who might not be clear on exactly what it is that your organization does, what does Catholic Charities offer?
In the area of immigration services, we do two things. We welcome new immigrants, and we try to make them part of our American society. So for some immigrants, we provide residences or the unaccompanied minors for a temporary period of time while they resettle. We also provide those legal services to immigrants so that they might know their rights, so that they might be protected. And in this current crisis, we are really committed to making sure that these children are reunited with their parents.
Now, we've seen so many different organizations step up in terms of helping families, processing, reuniting children with parents, et cetera. So I'm wondering, does Catholic Charities work in tandem with any of them, or are you guys all separate fiefdoms? How is this working?
Well, in this area, there is such great cooperation among all of those who are trying to help immigrants, and particularly the children. You know, for 10 years, there have been unaccompanied minors who have come to the border of this country. And our law says that if a minor comes to this country, we're going to give them the due process of making their case as to why it's too dangerous in their own country to see if they really should be granted asylum here. And while that's going on, we provide them with a safe residence where they can live if they don't have a guardian in this country. So now we're doing what we've been doing for 10 years, but now with children who didn't have to be unaccompanied. They were made unaccompanied because our government took them away from their parents. They came with parents and they were rendered unaccompanied, and we're caring for them as well as we can. Good education, social service, counseling because of the trauma they have faced, as we try to make sure they have a permanent place to live, hopefully reunited with their parents.
And now, does that include Catholic Charities across the country? Because as we understand now, some of these kids have been sent to, there's several that are here in New York City, some have been sent to other cities around the country.
Yes, it does. And in fact, last Thursday, I was down at the Texas-Mexican border visiting Catholic Charities of the Rio Grande Valley. I was at a respite center there. And just to tell you a little bit of the difference, on Thursday, there were some families there with children, little kids. And it was difficult because they were on their way now to other parts of the country. But those kids with whom I spoke, their parents, they were together. So while it was a difficult, hard situation, the parents were with the children. Friday, I was up here in New York, and I visited one of the Catholic Charities residences where these kids, yes, are being well cared for, but without their parents. And the difference in their attitude, because they were in limbo. They didn't know what to feel, what to say. Even though they had clothes, they were well cared for, they were going to school, but they were just lost because they wanted their parents.
I'm wondering, because within this crisis that's been going on now, the Bible has been invoked on both sides of the argument. And I'm just wondering, from your perspective, what role does faith play in this?
Faith plays a critical role. And I just want to quote Cardinal Dolan, who said last week this policy of separating kids from their parents is both unbiblical and un-American. We unabashedly are in favor of family values. How can you be in support of family values and have a policy that rips kids away from their children of all different ages? I'm told even under 1 year old, they've been taken away from their parents. That's unbiblical. That's not American.
All right, well, listen, Monsignor, I want to thank you so much for joining us on the program and giving us some insight into what's been happening behind the scenes. If people watching this want to do something and help to contribute, what should they do?
Just go to our Catholic Charities website, and you can see updates on what is going on in the situation, and feel free to donate, and we'll make sure that that money goes to help these families, these children who are in such difficult situations.
And is there a particular need in one's, like, is it better to donate to Catholic Charities in the Rio Grande? Is it more important to donate here in the city, or is it one big pot?
Well, it's not one big pot, but if you donate to Catholic Charities of New York and you specify how you want your donation used, we'll make sure it gets used in line with whatever donor intends.
All right, well, listen, Monsignor, thank you so much for joining us on the show. A lot of us are still trying to figure out exactly what is going on with this immigration crisis, so we definitely appreciate your work.
Thank you, Jenna.
Thank you.